the values of a quiet creator can be so powerful, can be so changing. And again, I always say this, if we can influence one person, just one person through our content, big tick. It's been a success. The fear of being disliked, I think, is a really petrifying fear. The people pleaser in us, maybe especially more if we're introverts, because I think we're scared of the other side of that, right? If we dislike or displease somebody, man, the reaction from them can feel super overwhelming, and so we shy away from it. And it's one thing I want to look at, just with a couple of examples from a YouTuber that I really respect, Nathaniel Drew, about how we can deal with the fear of what people think of us, right? Especially when we're creating content and we're potentially being vulnerable to other people who we don't know. Maybe we do know, maybe they're friends and family who see it, and sometimes that could be even more terrifying, right? What do people we know think of our content, let alone people we don't know? And that actually can stop us from starting, right? I had that fear today. I'll tell a little story in a second about that, but I want to show Nathaniel Drew. So we're going to screenshot, we're going to share screens here. I love his content. He's been around on YouTube for quite a few years, so I'm just going to show. Okay, so we're going to start a nice little screen record, and we're on our way. So Nathaniel Drew, a lot of subscribers, 1.71 million subscribers, so he's got some respect on YouTube. He is a self-certified introvert as well. So I'm going to go to his videos. I just want to show, for example, one of his oldest videos. And Nathaniel, or Nathan as he was known by then, really wasn't happy in front of the camera. He didn't want to share himself. And he kind of explains why in this video, the real Nathan, where he talks without editing for 10 minutes, I won't show the whole clip now, about himself and why he's on YouTube. So I'm just going to find the clip. I've got my trusty notes here. 2:55, Mr. Nathaniel talks quite openly here, and I'm going to share this with you now.
What social media would do to my life, just in the sense that I was afraid of sharing and afraid of showing my real self out there, because I was afraid of the criticism and the opinions of people and being hated. And that fear...
So he talks about the fear of being hated. I can relate to that. Can you relate to that? Maybe. I think we all relate to that, right? Isn't it a human instinct to have that fear? But this is why he said at the beginning of his YouTube journey, back what's this, like 7 years ago? 7 years ago. I think he was like 19 at the time. He was super young, bless him. But he was open and he said, look, and he goes on in the videos, like he prefers to hide behind the screen and feels very vulnerable sharing himself on camera because he loves what other people think of him. He doesn't love it, but he really desires to be liked. He's a people pleaser. And his fear of producing content is, oh my God, what if people don't like what I put out there? Is that a reflection of me? How will I deal with that? And he actually, when you look at some of his videos, he kind of hid behind the camera for a long time. He's great at making films, really good at making films, but he did narrate a lot and he stayed behind the camera because he wasn't sure about how to be himself, how to be vulnerable, how to just share his soul to the camera, right? So now we're going to go back. So I want to show a difference. So now we're going to go to some of the latest content, and he's made a big difference here. This is 9 months ago. So this is 7 years of Nathaniel's journey on YouTube, on sharing content. And I'm going to go to, here we go, 7 seconds in. Okay.
I'm addicted to validation. I care about what people think. I want people to like what I say and like who I am. There have been periods of my own life where I've based my own sense of my own value off of what other people think. How many people are watching my work? And I think I care so much about this topic because I'm terrified of the flip side. I am.
He's terrified of the flip side. He's terrified of the flip side of not being liked, right? Like, if you can't make content that people like, if you can't be relatable to people, if people don't like him as somebody on YouTube sharing their vulnerability, if somebody attacks that and goes, I'm not into that, I don't like you, I don't resonate with what you're saying, there's a huge fear there, right? And again, he's an introvert and he's a super emotional soul. I'm an emotional soul, I'm an introvert, and maybe you're an introvert, maybe you're a little bit quieter in that extroverted YouTube world. And how do we navigate that? Two things I wanted to share, and just really briefly, he's been at YouTube now for 7 years. He didn't quit. He did have a year off. He did say he had a year away because it got a little bit too much for him, but he came back, and now 7 years later, I mean, I have to say, look how comfortable he feels, right? Look how just he resonates with the people he's talking to, because he now trusts and he's built that tribe, that community. But that only comes with time. And so he's stuck to his values. And I love that. And I take that with me. I hope you take that with you, because the values of a quiet creator can be so, so powerful, can be so changing. And again, I always say this, if we can influence one person, just one person through our content, big tick. It's been a success. Our mission to create content has been validated because we had an influence on one person. And never, never underestimate how much that means. Think about it on a human to human scale. If what we share has an impact on one person, it doesn't matter about the 999 other people who don't resonate with what we say. It really doesn't matter. However, I know that it is really, really challenging to get to grips with that, because we are people pleasers. I'm not speaking for everybody, but I am a people pleaser. I'm an introvert. So when I put content out there, and this is going to be the challenge every single video I make, because I'm gonna think about what other people are thinking when they see me. And as an example, today I was in getting my hair cut at the barber's in town. As you can see, short back and sides, thank you very much. But it wasn't quite what I was hoping for. And I kind of like wanted to say something at the time, because I could see what the barber was doing. I could see that it probably wasn't going in the direction that I wanted or I'd hoped, but I didn't say anything because I didn't want to upset him, like that whole people-pleasing aspect. And then what do? I stay quiet. Or in a YouTube comparison, I worry about what other people think and they're not going to like what I say, so I just don't make content. And that's what I walked out of that barber today with, potentially a haircut I didn't actually ask for. Because I didn't want to upset somebody. And I was like, man, I have got to get over this. I've got to deal with this and be okay with putting my opinion out there. And I thought to myself, because I had a bit of an anxiety kind of, I wouldn't say attack, but a real anxious moment afterwards. And I walked through the streets and I could feel it in my heart. You know, when your heart starts to burn a little bit, you feel like if nobody's watching, I could just have a big cry right now, but I've got to keep it together because there's other people around and people are going to think I'm a little loopy if I just walk down the street crying. You know, that feeling, that tug in the heart, that heaviness, that burning sensation. I felt that, and I knew why I felt it, because I didn't say anything, because I was scared of what he thought. And it just reminded me of, oh my God, I'm a people pleaser, aren't I? We're people pleasers. And if we're people pleasers, we care so much, but we don't want to get hurt. And so what I'd say to end this video, because I know time's are ticking, right? You've probably made a cup of tea to me making. It's okay to be people pleasers. It's really, really powerful to care what other people think. Because if we're coming from the right place, it's a beautiful thing. And I cherish that in me. And I cherish that in you if that's how you are, because wow, how cool, how lucky. On the flip side, it's something we have to overcome. Or not even overcome, it's something we have to sit with and be comfortable with. We don't have to eradicate it, because that's a challenge in itself. But if we can be comfortable with knowing that we're not going to please everybody, and it's okay to share what we value and believe in, even at the expense of somebody not agreeing with us, then that's really powerful to get to that point. And look, today, I didn't feel like making a video. I really didn't, because I had that experience and I was like, I just want to shut myself off because it felt negative. The energy felt negative. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to go home. I'm going to set up my scene. I'm going to set up the camera. I'm going to put some Trevor Hall on, one of my favorite artists. And I'm just going to see how I feel. And you know what? That anxiety, it went. And now I feel comfortable because my value has returned. And I'm sharing with people that I resonate with and that I know have a commitment to make the same change that I would love to change. And that's making a difference to one person. So that's it. I hope that helps. I hope you take something from the video. And if you do, I'd love you to share it with somebody who you think it might help today, because that can be that one person, right? That can be the one person that makes a difference. Awesome. I'm going to breathe it out, get a cup of tea, and enjoy the sunrise. Not sunrise, sunset. It's nighttime. I'm going to enjoy the sunset. All right. Thank you.